Hello chat, welcome, sorry to keep you guys waiting. Hello Zara, Luna, welcome you too. Hope everything is going well on this Monday. It's Monday, okay. I apologize, I've been, I've had a day. It's the best way to put it. For those of you who are in the Discord, Betty, the new puppy, has been quite a handful, especially because she is not properly trained, so she's doing a lot of puppy things. Is the best way to put today's been a day. I feel that. Also, I see where the points go. Burr, haha, tee. And it's been a day. But anyways, yeah. I hope things have overall gone well for everybody. And I guess it's time to yap a little bit. I saw Alfred do this, and I also mentioned that in the actual information presented to you guys today itself, but we're just gonna kind of yap today about how last year went and what I'm hoping we get out of this year. So let me go ahead and transition all that information over real fast. Also, I realized that my PNG is covering some information that it should not be, so I'm probably gonna be moving myself around a little bit. So forgive me for that. Also, I am actually going to, I'm gonna start some music. Screw it. I wasn't gonna do music on this one, but I feel like I'm not gonna turn this into an actual video. So let me get some stream music going. There we go. But anyway, so let's talk about what I did and all that over 2024. And we'll just kind of go through this bit by bit. I did actually organize this. Good job, me. But yeah, to start off with, during the point of December 28th to January 18th, I didn't stream, period. I usually take a 2 to 3 week break every winter holiday season, and then I usually take one in the middle of the year, usually around the 4th of July. And that was kind of the case for this time. And I really didn't do a whole lot online this time. I just kind of wanted to, in some ways, distance myself. I've just been tired. That's the best way to put it. I've been sleeping a lot. I kind of just treat this like in a way to just try and not do a whole lot. But at the same time, just enjoy the things I wanted to do. Which I got to do a bit of that. I ended up watching some movies with my mom during this time. I watched The Bad Guys, Nightmare Before Christmas, and Frozen 2. I guess quick thoughts and opinions on all those movies. Bad Guys, while extremely predictable in how it was gonna go, it's a cute movie. I would recommend giving it a watch. Nightmare Before Christmas, I think it's artistically really cool. I loved how they did a lot of the animation for it. I think aesthetically this film is phenomenal, and I see why this is like almost a cult classic. Also, for the record, I had never seen any of these movies before. I know everyone kept saying, oh, you need to see Nightmare Before Christmas, you need to see Nightmare Before Christmas. A friend of mine in particular was like all over me seeing this film, and I finally had time to see it. And then Frozen 2? I'm more of a fan of the ending than I was the general movie. Like, I don't feel like the movie was bad. I understand what people mean by the music was not as good in 2 as it was in 1. I do think that Into the Unknown, while not a bad song, I didn't get as much of like the whimsy, not whimsy. I didn't get much of like the wanderlust that like it wanted to convey in the film. So I feel like it just like the song was like not bad, but it didn't quite have the same impact as like what it tried to convey in the movie. Yeah. Overall, I feel like all three were pretty good, but very, very quick reviews on that. And then I also caught up to some shows that I've been meaning to watch. I finally saw Arcane Season 2. Kind of rushed towards the end. I'm just going to be frank about that. And then My Hero Academia Season 4. I still have the last 3 episodes to watch, but I did see the conclusion with Gentle Criminals, so that's the point where I'm at. I still have to see the rest of the school festival stuff for context on that, for people who don't know exactly where it is, or because it's been so long since you've seen it. I've been trying to just gradually let myself just watch things I've been wanting to watch, is the best way to put it. So yeah, but that's just kind of where I'm at. I started got a bit further into season 4 a couple years ago when I went to Texas to hang out with Magna, and we watched a bit of it together. And then like ended up like right around the school festival, like their school festival arc starting is where we left off. So it was just nice for me to like actually catch up on it. And I just overall, realistically, with the break, I just didn't want to do anything that was quote unquote work in the context of like the streamer content creation. However, I kind of did fail about that, which we'll talk about that later. But and obviously that's where a lot of like this is going to be in the bulk. The puppy. We'll talk about the puppy, but yes, there is a new puppy. And then we had some various discussions just about life and personal matters from 2024 with family, which we're going to talk about that later as well. I did play some of Overcooked 2 with Lektenhar, and then I played some Master Duel with Amu. We both been respectively grinding. I'm back at Plat for the first time in like forever. But I ended up currently in Plat 5. And also, I know some people were going to ask, like, why didn't you stream Overcooked with Lektenhar? That would have been hilarious, and I know you've talked about that in the past. I mean, it was fun, and it probably would have been good content, but it was just something that we wanted to just enjoy, and I just wanted, like, an excuse to, like, play a game that wasn't going to be, like, exclusively content. Because there is a difference between, like, playing games for yourself, by yourself, and then playing games on stream. And obviously, like, it's not as big of a deal for Lektenhar, considering they're not the streamers. I know for Hard it's a little bit different, considering he's been co-hosting enough with me and some other friends. Overcooking, yeah, I've done some Overcooking them, which I need to play with you at some point. Also, hello. And then, we got a puppy. My mom adopted this puppy, Miss Betty, named after my late grandma. She's a handful. That's the best way to put it. I have been watching Miss Betty when my mom's in Florida, and I have wanted to pull my hair out so many times. I have had to launder her bed cushion every day, twice a day, because she keeps peeing and pooping all over no matter what time I get her up at. And, like, when I put her down for a nap for, like, a couple hours, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just chill for a couple hours. Like, I actually reached a point today where, and keep in mind, this is not me abusing her, but, like, I left her in my mom's bathroom, which is spacious, not like a tiny little thing, but, like, a spacious bathroom. She had enough, like, space to run around in. She had enough, like, she had food and water. She was fine. But she would not stop, like, howling for attention all day. Because I was just trying to get her to use the bathroom. But she wouldn't, so I was like, alright, let's go downstairs then, because I'm assuming you used the bathroom at this point. First thing she did was pee on the carpet downstairs. So I had just been at a boiling point with Betty for a while. Which, again, she's a puppy, so I need to work on my patience a little bit with her, but she's been a project. And at this point, she just needs training, because she won't listen to me. She won't even seem to, like, recognize her name. So, I don't know how I'm supposed to get her to, like, learn things if I can't even get her to learn her name. And we're probably going to be dropping her off at some point with the trainer who trained Tony. So, Betty will hopefully be a bit better by that point. Just enough to where it's, like, Betty will understand, like, what, like, you know, like, leaving things alone, or, like, to pee on her pads. Because, like, we can't take her outside to do her business because it's still so cold out today. Like, I think today was actually in the negatives, if I remember. Hold on, let me double check that. Like, what is it right now outside? Because I went outside grocery shopping today and I was like, oh god, it's freezing. Okay, yeah, excuse me. It's a high of 11 today is what we were at. So we had a high of 11 and it felt like 0. According to what my weather report says. So, that like, we just can't take her outside. But anyways, that's kind of what I did personally overall during this break. Just no streaming. I kind of socially distanced myself online for a little bit just to, I don't want to say detox, but I just needed the break is the best way to put it. It's been freezing, so like I haven't been going anywhere. Also, because like we had like a blizzard for like a couple weeks, like actually made the roads intraversable. But when I could get outside, I would get outside and just try and hang out with some friends, watch some movies, caught up on some shows. Like I said, I'm not done with My Hero Season 4, but getting there. I did end up working on some stream stuff, but in a good way. I worked on some stream stuff, played some games with friends. Overall, good time, right? So that was just kind of catching, and also some like serious talks, which we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, that was just kind of how it went. Overall, it was fine. Great break. Very much needed. I don't want to say I'll take 3 breaks a year. I don't think I need it, but I know I'm going to have to take some breaks this year due to personal matters, which again, we'll talk about that. So then there's the content side of things about what I did actually do. I really just worked on one video primarily, which is the best 2024 video. As soon as I was done streaming on the 28th, I just tried to finalize this video. Big thanks to Amu, by the way, for helping me figure out that Twitch videos are stupid when you download them. Because I learned about variable frame rates and stable frame rates, which I didn't realize that Twitch encoded all of its videos in variable frame rates, which I know it's a bunch of techno jargon that my audience doesn't really know about. TLDR, if you've watched any content of mine and noticed that the video and audio is desynced, like specifically on like the videos or like rendered content, but not like on the VODs itself, and I'm excluding the VODs like for Dawn Trail. The Dawn Trail VODs are a perfect example, right? It's spaghetti code. It's not quite spaghetti code, but it's not too far off. But TLDR is that it's annoying to deal with because video formatting is not uniform in that sense. So it's a bunch of jargon towards like, hey, I can now fix this for whenever I have this issue, which is a good thing. Overall, like, it's technically a good thing. Big thanks to Amu and helping me with that. But there were issues with it in the first place. But outside that, I got that working as fast as I could. I was gonna have issues with the majority of it, and again, Clips, while they have that issue, it's a very easy fix for Clips, so again, not a big deal. I did work on some rebranding stuff, which I'll show some of the out of context bits of that later. I worked on some of my other rebranding stuff, like the lore video. The audio is almost done, unironically. But the visuals have yet to be started, and I can't super start that until... Also, okay. I just got very jump scared because I don't remember the song behind my playlist. But yeah, the lore video is coming along. I need to finalize a few design elements before I can really start working on this visually between storyboarding and all that. And this is looking to be a roughly 10-minute video, which surprised me, considering the script is like 4 pages. And back in my Machinima days, at least, one thing I remember learning was that a page is roughly a minute. That was obviously not the case here. I kind of went ham on the audio to add as many sound effects as possible. It's like believable. But outside that, what else did I do? I kind of just evaluated my online presence and tried to come up with content plans, especially for YouTube, which we're going to talk about that, like I think in a slide or two. And then just watch, like, I just binged like some various like online videos, like Twitter threads about like what works and what doesn't work, or like how to grow. And there's some statistics of why I have been kind of unhappy with my growth. Also, yes, for those of you who saw the Alpharad recap, where he kind of did the same thing, I got inspired to do this based off that. Yeah. Anyways, that was kind of that's the catch-up, okay? So that's what I did on both sides of the equation during the 3-week break. So now we're going to talk about some of the number sort of stuff. And overall, my growth has been a lot slower since I stopped streaming Faye in 2022. 2022 2023, one of the 2 years. But regardless, like, we were at 300 followers part way into 2022, which I started in 2020. So, in those 2 years, I averaged roughly 150 followers. It wasn't quite how that worked out, but basically, like, you can average 150 followers, like, a year. For the 2 years I've been streaming up until that point, but in 2025 or 2024, by the end of it, just for the sake of the argument, we're at 366. That means we dropped in growth from 150 followers a year to 33 followers a year. And also, like, streams aren't hitting high numbers. Like, and that's just a fact. Obviously, like, I don't mind saying that we're a small, tight-knit community, but there is some disheartening when it's like, yeah, a stream can't even hit, like, 10 viewers. Like, especially going into my 5th year. Like, keep in mind, March 20th is officially my 5-year anniversary, and, like, we're still at the size that we're at, despite how much I have tried to grow. But at the same time, there are things that I definitely could be doing better, you know? And obviously it's like, oh, well, I could go back to Faye or something like that. I'm absolutely not going back to streaming this game. I can't do it. Mentally, I cannot do it. So, how am I going to try in approaching this going forward? This is advice I did get a while back, and I think I want to try reapproaching it in some different ways. They would work as well either. Well, the thing about Faye that made Faye interesting, like, wasn't as much like the game itself, but one, there weren't a lot of Twitch content creators for the game, and two, we specifically did Arena Assault with no items, and that was fun up until units kept getting so power crept, and now we face power creep at a rate in that game towards, like, it's unreasonable, right? Like, I would have to be pumping in, like, money just to, like, get by at that rate. And I don't even think, like, doing that much would be reasonable at this point. So, like, it just doesn't work anymore for that game. So, instead, what I want to do is try, again, and I've heard a couple content creators, like, have this approach, where it's, like, the one for you, one for me approach. Just, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, I want to try the one for you, one for me approach again. So what is that approach for people who have maybe heard the term, but don't know what it means? So basically what this is like, I play a game that I super want to play for the me part of it, but for you guys, I play a game that you guys really enjoy. So kind of to give, like, an example, I get, this isn't like the best example, but kind of like around the point of Sonic Frontiers Hollow Knight, I would say is kind of like a good one, where it's like I was playing Hollow Knight for myself because I wanted to play it and I really enjoyed it, which obviously, like, people did like Hollow Knight. There was a lot, like, there was a good active, like, chat during the Hollow Knight streams, but Sonic Frontiers was stuff that you guys tended to enjoy when I was suffering. And obviously that's not, like, the best example. I'm sure you could probably, like, go back and, like, find other examples of, like, FF9 is kind of another for me, even though you guys also like it kind of deal. Streamer suffering tax. Well, it's not exclusively streamer suffering tax, but it's the idea that it's, like, it's a game that you guys want to be seeing, right? Like, I don't know, this is just me, like me hypothetically being like, I don't know, like, let's say, like, what's that game called? Hold on, I know, like, the name of this game yet. No, no, is it? It's not content warning, right? Is it content warning? Hold on, I apologize. It might be, yeah. Okay, it is content warning. So, like, is that Genshin? I kind of see. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a moment. But like, let's say, like, content warning was like a game that's still like super big right now, right? Like you guys, like Twitch is all like, we want to see content warning, we want to see content warning, and like I want to play FF9, I want to play FF9. That's like the one for you, one for me style approach. Keep in mind, it doesn't have to be like a horror game, but it can be like just like a game that you guys in general want to see. Like it's the idea. It's like I play a game for me, and then I also play a game for you guys. That's what the one for you, one for me approach is. And again, like that, you can like put it with like maybe it doesn't have to be like multiplayer. It can be like they can both be single player games, right? Like maybe I'm into Guilty Gear Strive at that point in time, but you guys want to see Marvel Rivals. That's again a one for you, one for me kind of approach. I want to reassess some of that one for you, one for me kind of approach. Or maybe I don't love the game as much for you, but I still enjoyed enough to like be streaming it, right? Because like Faye was definitely like a game that eventually became a for you kind of game. That, well, obviously there were still things I enjoyed about Faye because I love the challenge of how that game worked out with the itemless runs. It just wasn't feasible to keep doing it, especially also because the adapter stopped working after one specific iOS update. But that's besides the point. I also want to do more community style games in general. Like, obviously the new Mario Kart is going to help out with that. I know there was, what was it, Crab Game? Which is like a parody of Squid Game that's on Steam that I wanted to do at some point. And like it can host up to 40 people. But like nobody ever wanted to join me on it when I tried poking my Discord over and over again. Like, hey, I want to do Crab Game. Crab Game. Yeah, exactly. Like, hello, Ramston. But yeah, like I kept saying like Crab Game would be like a fun game that like people could just hop in with. I've seen streamers play that shit with their stream. There was like a marble game I wanted to do as well, but ultimately we found the wrong marble game, and I was a little upsetty about that. But I want to do like just stuff that can get you guys involved as well. It's not just me playing the game or me just yapping. And I also want to potentially do stuff with the Glam contest, because like maybe this is me. Maybe I'm the crazy one, but I feel like they could be better. There could be something else that could involve, probably just be a bit more involved. I would like to obviously say like, oh, I can up the pricing. Like, I would love to give away just cash, like shot prizes more often. And maybe I could start setting more donation goals for that, so I can give away a bit more. Obviously, Help Penis, Hell Elect, I'm gonna ask you to put that thing away. That is not chat appropriate. But there's ways that I feel like it could be better, is the best way to put it. And obviously I don't have access to like a free company submarine to just like generate gil. So there's that. And then there's also like collabs in general I feel that need to happen, right? Like, I love collabing with Shadowlink. The few times I feel called out. Okay, that's not specifically you, because I have a couple friends that have like FC subs in general, right? Like that's not a call out directly to you. Do not worry, Ranston. But I feel that like one thing that's like especially good for like smaller streamers like myself is just collabing. Realistically, right? You reach new audiences. Obviously, with some of my friend groups, I have like some overlap, and that's just gonna happen, right? Like, I like collabing with Sam. I like collabing with Shadowlink. But just to give like a raw example, right? Like, let's say I collab with like Red Muffler Man for people who get the username, or like a Karu, right? Let's say I collab with those guys, like, and we stream together. I still want to do not collab with like I want to do, but regardless, let's just say like I collab with them, right? At that point, even though I somewhat like I know those guys, Akaru less so, but like I know those guys, they're not people I usually collab with, so I'm gonna get to reach out to new people. And who knows, maybe I grab a couple new followers along the way from just collabing with those people. Or to extend past that, like, let's say I collab with Lucky's again, right? We've collabed with that dude one time for the huge Among Us group, and that was fun. And people did enjoy that stream. I remember the Sight killing himself moment. That's probably one of the funniest things that ever happened Among Us. But the idea is that I just need to branch out a little bit more of my comfort zone and just do like some other games. Like not even other content. That's the best way to, like just other like categories, like things I could be doing, right? And I also feel like I need to be balancing between what I want to personally be streaming versus like what's mainstream at the time. Because let's be real, like what's mainstream at the time is such a flip-floppy thing. And who knows, maybe I build like a new niche audience out of that, right? Like, again, kind of going back to the Marvel Rivals whole thing, right? Maybe I end up really enjoying the game because like I had fun with Overwatch. I never played it on stream, but I enjoyed my like time with Overwatch with my roommates and all that back when I was in college. So maybe I enjoy a game like this and maybe I stream Marvel Rivals here and there. And then that leads to some things like, you know, or like when the new hot game comes out, it's like, oh, everyone's streaming like Scrimbo Bimblo or like Palworld 4 Sex Edition or something like that, you know? Like whatever like the new hot game is, like, well, if people are on the new hot game, sure, there's gonna be some people, like, a big train of logic, I guess, of why I didn't stream like what is quote-unquote mainstream was because of advice I had a while back that I remember hearing where it's like, if you always stream what's the new hot game, you're just gonna be flushed up with the bigger content creators that like just play the same games. Like, again, let's say I start playing Marvel Rivals on day one, and then Ludwig starts streaming it, or Alpharad starts streaming it, or I don't know, like insert other big content creator starts streaming it. I'm definitely not gonna get the same like attention of it. And sure, there's analytics of like, oh, well, maybe I should start streaming at times that other people aren't streaming the game, which is fair, you know? That, and I think that makes sense. The problem is I just have to work within times that also work for me, which I don't know if I can always do that. But again, that's a balancing act I have to figure out and work on. And I do feel like I just need to try balancing between what I want to play, to still enjoy it to myself, but at the same time streaming what is currently the mainstream hotness in order to try and garner some form of growth one way or another. And you know what? People will come and go, and that's something I'm just going to have to accept on that. Maybe you come from Marvel Rivals, but you don't like it when, I don't know, Honey Pop 17 comes out, and I start playing that. And then there's this one thought that I've been kind of back and forth on, which Luna alluded to with the Genshin faintly being there, about doing some sponsored content again. For the record, and I guess just to elaborate on this, Stream Elements does have like sponsorships available that like if you reach certain enough viewerships, like you can get be sponsored for like a week, get people to try a certain game or like a certain product and see how that goes for you. We could try that. I wouldn't be against it again. We did it once for the Star Trek phone game, and admittedly that sponsorship completely discouraged me from ever taking another one again. For people who don't know, I kind of kept it private, but I can sell me on Star Trek again. See, I can't even sell myself. Like, I don't think the game was genuinely bad, right? But the problem of a lot of the sponsorships, like the Star Trek one though. Well, okay, so like, while they're like that in like the principle of how they work, yes. Which again, let me explain why the Star Trek one was disappointing to me, right? So how they work typically is they will say, hey, we're gonna give you a link, a URL, a code, or something like a QR code. That's what the term I was looking for, QR code. Like just some way that you can try the game, and the people can try the game, and if they try the game using your method of direction, you will get credit for a certain amount of people playing it. If you hit like a minimum amount of people, you'll get X amount of money, there are stretch goals, yada yada, that kind of a deal, right? The Star Trek one was pretty generous, right? Get 2 people to play the game and reach, I think, level 10 or something like that, which like really wasn't too bad. Within a week's amount of time, that wasn't like that bad of a goal. 1 person played the game and actually hit level 10. So keep in mind, like, if I can't get 2 people, it was made. I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, it was like like there's the 1 person that actually hit the level requirement for the Star Trek sponsorship, and because he was the only one that did it, like, they just didn't pay me anything. I love Star Trek. It's so funny because like they were gonna, I guess, like, JK, I don't know shit about Star Trek. Don't worry, I don't either. But like, it was so disheartening in that regard. But at the same time, Let did bring up a point to me as well about it. My audience is not the kind of people that would play Star Trek, of all things, right? Which is true, and I've kind of thought about it, and yeah, like obviously I took it because it was the very first one I was ever offered. I was excited. I thought I can get 2 people to play this game. I don't think that was that unrealistic, but I mean, what happened happened. That's just kind of the extent of it. But at the same time, I think with games like Genshin Impact, like Zenless, like Honkai, I think that's more reasonable because that's more my audience per se, right? Like, I don't think I would get people to be like, like, well, you know what, like, let me just look at like what's on here right now, right? Like, I don't think I would get people to be like, oh yeah, let's do Factor 75 or HelloFresh. I don't think I would get people for that. Or like Monopoly Go. I would not get people for Monopoly Go 100%. Well, I mean, we play anime style games on here, right? Like Faye, which is what a lot of chunk of my community was built on. We play 14, a good chunk on here. Like, saying like in anime style games is not unrealistic, right? Like Hoyo games, I think just as like as an example, I think are like a prime candidate for how like it would work, and I would be willing to maybe try it again. And of course, I can always ask, like in my chat, like, hey, if I took a sponsorship for this game, would you guys be willing to try it? You know, there are ways that I can inquire about it and that I didn't know the first time. And I was just like so disheartened, like after the first one, like not like on the verge of tears, but I was like, oh, I'm just like it made me just feel like I was a failure as a streamer, to put it bluntly. Like I just felt so bad, and I had like no effort to try. So I was like, I even remember when I went to Texas and I met up with Nick, and like I had Nick breakfast one day with Nick, Magna, and Senan, Nick's partner. We talked about just some of that stuff. And even Nine was like, you couldn't get 2 people out of everybody we know to play the game? Like, even he felt bad. But regardless, like, I think trying with some games like Genshin and all that again. But obviously, I would not do this often, just as, like, keep that in mind, right? And I've been kind of debating about trying Genshin because I know the new patch gives you a free copy of a character I really like, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I think that it's something to consider, and I just kind of want to put that on the table again. Also, God, we're like only a third of the way this is done. And we're all, I was like, oh, this would be a short stream. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to have an hour. Jesus, okay. But anyways, let's get into some nitty gritty. Also, I need to move myself again, excuse me. I'm covering shit. There we go. Okay. So, let's look at some statistics between YouTube, Twitch, and then 2023 versus 2024. Yep, Shimo's good long stream. I mean, it's longer than I expected. To be fair, I thought I'd be just talking into the void. That's kind of what I really expected. I didn't think people would give enough of a shit about this. I'll just be real about it, but this is like an exercise for me to just yap. Because that is one thing I feel like I need to work on sometimes, just being able to yap even to myself. But anyways, so on the YouTube side of things, between 2023 and 2024, 8 videos total, 4 for each year. Underwhelming to say the least, and obviously I was kind of coming back into some of this, but and last year having a lot of what was going on personally, I still could have done better. That's the best way to put it. In terms of YouTube views, 2023 we had 436 views versus 245. And yes, I do not make up this next statistic. This is actually just truth. 69% of the viewers I had on YouTube were not subscribed to the channel. I know. I mean, while it's a funny number, that's a little skewed if only 30% of my views are from subscribers. We did a community. You did it in a way I'd rather you didn't. But also the channel can kind of upload shorts now. For people who saw the One Breakers video, quote unquote, I uploaded onto the channel. That was supposed to be a short. YouTube just wouldn't recognize it as a short. But we can upload Twitch clips now. So that's cool. We can upload Twitch clips directly as shorts, and I'm going to start doing that a bit more. So I think that's overall just neat. And then in terms of Twitch, in the first the YouTube, yeah. I also we did what the quality issues I've been having. I mean, so far my clips have come out okay, but don't worry, I'm gonna keep it in mind. But yeah. Also, like, we did upload one clip between like last year and then one this year, but obviously like, it's stuff that we can like, that's another avenue I can start going down, but again, we'll talk about that later. So anyways, in terms of Twitch, we had 119 streams in 2023 and 122 in 2024. So not a big difference, and I find that surprising considering how many times I remember having to cancel last year. I don't have the exact statistic for 2023, but last year we received 19 raids and we sent out 45. So obviously we sent out more viewers than we had coming in that regard. Though we had and again, I remember I talked about the averages, but we on average had 44 followers in 2023 versus 29 last year. Keep in mind, I know that doesn't equal 66. That's according to the Twitch recap, where it cuts that information off after a certain point in December and all that. So, and it doesn't quite track on people that unfollow. So, otherwise we would be even closer to 400. But my overall thoughts on like looking at these numbers and what this means to me. Obviously, last year sucked for me for everything that's been going on with my family and all that. Again, I had to deal with my mom becoming a recovering alcoholic, divorce between my parents. It's been a lot, right? So in some cases, to myself, I have to accept there were things that came before all this, which, you know, real life is going to come first before, like, content creation, especially unpaid content. Like, this is not my job, quote unquote. It is currently, like,
you think you can swing the bat? Show your bling and
also, that scared me. Jesus Christ. Thank you very much for the 55 months of sub. I appreciate it, my dude. No, I appreciate you very much, my dude. Love you bunches. Mwah. Anyways. Yeah, like I said, last year, very rough in a lot of regards. And then there was a little bit of view skewing as well in 2023, because that was when I officially announced retiring from Michigan. Which I'm surprised that was 2023. I thought it was last year, but that wasn't the case. Yeah, that video had some attention because, again, For you who don't know, my YouTube background is a machinima-oriented background. So, me saying I'm not going to machinima anymore is going to garner more attention compared to a, say, machinima channel that uploads random Twitch content, right? And especially where my audience on YouTube is more used to scripted content. Typically. Obviously, there were like old Mario Kart videos and such, but not about that. In 2024, we only had one video that broke 100 views. And that was the best of 2024 video. And it hit 101. So, which, you know what, I can plug that real fast. If you don't mind, would be appreciated. Go check out that video. I think it came out great. Better than the best of 2023 video. Which also, yes, the best of 2023 video came out in January of 2024. It had like, 2024 had double the views of like 2023. But also, I think a problem with some of the content I had with this in specific was half of like the videos I uploaded last year were Pandemonium related videos, which rating in 14 is kind of a blessing and a curse because it is consistent content, and there were some people like who stuck around for the like all the raid stuff, which thank you for that if you were one of those people. Greatly appreciate you. But the problem with rating, we got Pandemonium, was just time. It was a time, that's true. But the problem with it, specifically in the terms of content, well, there were two big problems with it. One was the timing of which we came back to it, right? Because initially the night group was doing it when it was more current. And then when we came back to it, not to say it was old content, but it was content that people weren't interested in anymore. Like, people had more or less, like, cleared the tier, or were wrapping up, and, like, there wasn't much reason to keep watching Pandemonium at that point. Especially because, like, Dawntrail was on the horizon. So, like, those videos, I can say right now, like, did not garner a lot of attention. Which, to be fair, they also weren't, like, super highly edited. And I feel like they would have done a lot better had I uploaded them at a time that they were more relevant. So, again, I think rating is also weird. Plus, like, and I've heard this expression too, that I think is very true when it comes to watching raid content. People want to be there for the clear, but they don't want to watch the prog. Unless you're like a world's first racer or something like that, people typically are like, oh, how close are they to the clear now? And like, they'll just like skim around like a VOD maybe, you know, if they need to tune in next time or something like that, right? That's kind of just how it is. Like, and plus we streamed so much Pandemonium. Like, especially towards the end, we were going into Pandemonium a lot, which kind of gives me a better idea of now if I do stream Arcadian in this expansion, how I'm gonna approach it. I don't think I'll be streaming re-clears at all, like just straight up at all. But I'd probably stream Prog still. But if Prog reached a point where it's like too much, maybe consider a different group. I don't know. It's weird in how I wanna, like, how I'm just brainworming it. I'm not saying I'm committing to these ideas, but it was rough in terms of analytics. So like just seeing like very flatlining numbers during Pandemonium. And in terms of the VOD channel, there was like no subscriber growth realistically. It kind of just stayed at 40 subs, which isn't a lot, but it had good views at least for some of the VODs, so I really can't complain. Like, for not just be, excuse me, for just being an archive channel, I think the VODs channel did okay. That's the best way I can put it. It did just okay. And that's all that I can say that I really cared about in regards to that channel specifically. So let's talk. So I'm gonna move with something in gosh darn it. There we go. Okay. So let's talk about just some of the plans I have for like some of this going forward. So during my break, while I was working on my lore video audio, I felt that love of just like creating. Like, don't get me wrong, I love streaming and all that. I still think streaming is fun. But there is a difference between working on like scripted content and seeing something you know and how it's gonna work from start to finish, progress, versus I don't know how a stream is necessarily gonna go. I just hope this is entertaining for people. Obviously, it's still my job to like be entertaining and make things entertaining. But there's again that difference, especially like, you know, and again, I feel like in the case like where John left Game Grumps, it made sense. There's a big difference between scripted content and non-scripted content, and some people just prefer that scripted content style, which I think is fair. So, I want to try and get myself on a video style schedule going forward. I want to try and at least get one video a month up on the It Will Start Epic channel, which I think that's realistic. But we'll talk about that just a bit more in a smidge. And then turning the best Twitch clips into shorts. That way we're just still uploading things. We're getting the good haha funnies out there. It Will Cinema. It Will Cinema. Yeah, you got it, boss. It Will Cinema is coming. But there is also like a debate that I've heard like numerous YouTubers / Twitch content creators kind of talk about when it comes to turning Twitch streams into videos versus recording a video on Twitch, right? Like, just as an example, because I'm not going to have a ton of time this month because I will have family visiting next week, and then I'm going to be gone a majority of like that week. Like, having a good game on Master Duel, like from the stream and then turning that into a video versus going into a Twitch stream with the intent of turning it into a video on, like, I don't know, I beat Fire Emblem Engage with only the worst emblems or something like that, right? Hypothetical. But like, there's a difference in mindset of how I'm going into recording the video. Which I feel like there's a big difference in like the atmosphere of that style of content. So that's something I have to figure out which one I want to necessarily go with, or if I'm going to hybrid it, what I think is more enjoyable. Because again, I haven't done a whole lot of that because everything that we uploaded last year was just Twitch stuff turned into a video. Like the Pandemonium clears were the stream moments turned into those, and then the best of videos are just the best moments slowly turned into a video. Obviously, the 2024 video had a couple more edits to it, but not a whole lot to be like, oh yeah, this is like not a stream stop video turned, or streams turned into video. It's definitely not a video turned into a stream, or a video recorded on stream, if that makes sense. Excuse me. So there is work in that regard to be done, but I'm gonna try kind of doing a little bit of both. And then I want to just overall improve on some of the quality, but that's gonna be hard to do just as myself, and I can't afford to hire editors. That's just really hire editors. I think it's supposed to be freely, but regardless, you get what I mean. And then to kind of talk about some of the projects, I'm not gonna leak everything here, obviously. And keep in mind, some of this is me Twitch stuff as well, so it's not just like videos per se, but things that like they kind of look forward to. I still want to make the hire yourself as an editor. I wish I could pay. If I could hire myself as an editor and pay my own bills, then sure. If that's how that worked, I would 100% just do that, and I would not have money issues anymore. But that is not how it works. I cannot infinite money glitch myself. But for some of the content that I want to upload, and some of the games and other bits of content that I want to do, I want to do Fire Emblem games this year, probably with Har. I'm gonna think of some way breaking the economy. Exactly, I would love to break the economy. But I want to do some form of Fire Emblem Engage with Har. I think that'd be fun. It's the only Fire Emblem at this point I haven't played. Also, hello Har, how's it going? Yeah, like Engage. I know Har and I in DMs talked about Blue Lions with 3 houses, which that still might happen, but I don't know how I would do that to make it exciting, because I really don't want to play Three Houses again. I really don't want to play Three Houses again. Yeah, like something with Engage I think would be fun. A best of Hollow Knight video, which I wanted to upload last year for Halloween, but well, not Halloween, but for the October video, but that just didn't happen. And the person I was contacting with about making the video for me at the time, because I wasn't able to. Not to say that the rates were bad, because, and again, editors can charge whatever they want, but it was not something that I could afford to pay, is the best way to put it. I wanted to do forever ago, I wanted to do a best of Mobile video, but I feel like, especially because that was my very first ever stream game, I think doing a Tears of the Kingdom one just makes more sense. Plus, visiting Tears of the Kingdom would be fun, like, once we debut as a VTuber. You know, like a good model showcase, right? Like, the game will have a lot that I can react to. And then I've mentioned the TCG Conquest. Also, keep in mind, this TCG Conquest logo, this is garbage. I literally put this into a cool text generator online, slapped this here, just so I had something to represent what the idea is. Do not treat this logo as anywhere near final. But I talked about this like during like one of the Binder organizing like streams I did a while back, where it's gonna be me against various other like players, content creators, influencers, like in a conquest style format in various trading card games. And I still want to do that. I still have the first guest lined up. Me seeing that look will make me think of my boyfriend would make it think it looks good. Oh no, it's garbage, 100%. Like, it is straight up garbage. Like, I just need to, like, make something real quick. I slapped it there just to represent the idea. Because I had no other visual for it. And I figured, like, if I put anything else, it wouldn't make sense. But yeah, like, for people who don't know what Conquest format is, or we just weren't there for that stream, Conquest format is you bring multiple decks from a TCG into a match. You and your opponent optionally strike a deck from each player, meaning they can't play that deck for the entire match. And then it becomes a best of 3, best of 5, whatever, however many decks you bring. And you have to win with either all your decks or like the majority of your decks, however you set it up. And like it would vary from like episode to episode. But just that general idea is what I want to do with the TCG Conquest thing. And I know there will be breaks in between that. My goal, ideally for that, would be, like, ideally one guest every month, if not every other month. And then probably, like, at least a 6-month gap in between seasons. But, again, that's a semantics kind of deal that I have to work out. Because there's also, like, expenses between getting actual cards. How do I visually represent it? Like, do I only do Master Duel for, like, the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff? Do I do paper? Because some games I would have to do paper, right? But, you know, that piles up to consistently be building new decks every single time. Just, like, it's also why I feel so iffy about streaming Master Duel all the time and why I don't only play Synchron, right? Like, because I know Hard jokes that he loves watching me play Synchron. Also, the music stopped. Excuse me, let me fix that. Like, Hard jokes about, like, loving the Synchron gameplay. But I cannot watch, like, one dude play the same deck all the time unless it was like, I'm jokes, he says. I mean, okay, I mean, like, there's a difference between, like, I want to see you play a deck versus, like, I'm gonna get to Master 1 with only Synchron. See, like, that's, like, a content kind of thing. I'm just jamming random games with Synchron, right? But, like, I could not watch the same person play the same deck every single time they did, like, one game. Like, unless they are, like, the best in the world at something, or, like, they're a god-like one-trick at it. It just doesn't make sense to do, like, in that sense of it. So, like, that's why I would have to then get more decks. Well, see, that's the problem. More decks means more investment, and more investment means more money. If you narrate your gameplay, I think it's fine. Well, okay, there's only so much I can be like, yes, I normal summon Junk Synchron, summon Converter, summon Doppel Warrior, do a Junk Speeder combo. There's only so much I can do with that, right? Which again, like, comes with, or almost says, like, get more decks, variety it up. Again, that becomes a money issue, and that leads to other expenses. And obviously, I can't consistently be like, hey guys, do you want to donate money so I can build this new deck? Well, if you narrate it like that, well, like that's the thing though. Like yes, obviously I can make it exciting, but like you can only like do like. Imagine like watching Burning Abyss gameplay with Fartfur, right? Like imagine Fartfur only playing Burning Abyss and just like Seer target Dante target Seer. That joke only can last you so long, especially when a deck is has a very linear point that it has to reach. He says like, you really talking about the game at all times. Okay, there's a difference between talking about the game at all times and then just me being like, click, 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 click. Like, you're right. I don't have to talk about it all the time, but I can't just be silent, right? And plus, there are points where I get bored of doing the same shit all the time. Like, it's also for my sanity. Like, it's not, like, I'm not saying that you guys are wrong or that I'm exclusively right, but, like, there's a balance that has to be struck with it, right? Like, I just can't I am not a complete one-trick in that regard. And plus, the style of Conquest-style gameplay does involve bringing multiple decks. Like, that's half the point of Conquest. Because, like, sure, like, you can have a one-trick that does something very well, and it's awesome to watch them do that one thing very well, but if you enter them into a Conquest-style format, you're testing their knowledge from multiple perspectives, right? So, like, there are points where you have to accept that, like, for that specific style of content in Conquest format, you have to get some form of variety. But again, that's my musings on it. Again, I'm not saying that I'm completely right. I'm not saying you guys are incorrect. But there are compromises on it that have to be made, like, where you consider from one form or another. And you just have to be like, alright, I can play Synchron, and I love it, but I don't want to play it all the time. And I don't want to, like, bore you guys with, like, the same Junk Speeder combo all the time, right? Like, I just can't do it like that. And that's also, like, it's not good for Twitch content, it's not good for YouTube content, like, just to do the same thing every single game. Like, I can do it here and there, and I can do it, like, for, like, a stream. Like, I don't have, like, an issue, like, this stream, I'm only playing Synchron until I hit Plat 1 or something like that. Like, that's totally doable. I could do it for something like that. But if it was, like, every single Master Duel stream where I'm just playing Synchron, or every single time I do, like, a Conquest episode with somebody, and every single Yu-Gi-Oh! Episode, like, I brought Synchron as one of my 4 decks, that would be a bit boring. So again, that's my ramblings kind of on that idea. Like, even like in Vanguard, where it's like, I'm building a lot of different clans, because that way I can keep the variety and then, like, to keep the viewers engaged. Like, oh wait, he's playing this time? I want to see this episode. Or something like that, you know? Like, it's not perfect, and obviously there are flaws with every single scenario where it's like, I play the same couple of decks every single time, and that saves me money, but then I'm not showing variety in the gameplay, and I am banking on my guest to bring something exciting, versus, like, I bring different things every single time, but then that turns into expenses. So there's no, like, clear-cut way to do it, one way or the other. Like, there's economic efficiencies, and I'll probably have to at some point be like, alright, I'm just gonna play these decks again. Or, like, I haven't played this deck in a couple episodes, I want to give it another go. Which, you know, bring back the losers, try and get a wins on them, that works too. But that's just kind of where I'm at with it. Also, God, I did not think that I was gonna keep yapping on this point. This is not the slide I thought I was gonna yap on. But yeah, overall, like, just upload a little bit more often. Try and get 12 videos up this year, at least. I know I'm going to have 2 for next month because I have a Vanguard competition at the very start of the month. So that's gonna be some YouTube content, which we'll stream. I'll probably like stream that and record, like go into that like, with this second one again, recording a video on a stream versus turning a stream into a video. So we'll probably be doing that. And then, like, January's video, for example, will probably just be the Paleozoic game that we had yesterday, because I think that game was really good. But there's, like, it's my ramblings on how I want to approach some of this, and, like, things that I think I can do to just try and make this work. But, like, the exact details of the Conquest series will have to, like, be worked out. And again, I don't have issues playing the same decks, I just don't want to play the same decks all the time, because I don't think that's exciting for you, nor is it exciting for me. So anyways, now we're on to the non-fun stuff, which are the conflicts that I know I'm going to have to be dealing with this year. Also, I need to mute myself again. There we go. Okay, so, kind of talking about some of this stuff. As I mentioned on my social medias and such, on my Iblestar Evan ones, I have not mentioned this at all, actually my personal socials. I've been dealing with a recovering alcoholic with my mom for a while. She's doing better, for people who are wondering. She's doing significantly better, but she's not quite where we want her to be, right? Like, there have been some times where I found alcohol in her closet that she was trying to hide from me. And obviously that stings, but, you know, I can't completely fault her when, you know, that's how it is with a recovering alcoholic, right? Like, you can't help that. So that's part of what I've been dealing with. My mom and I will probably be moving out of this house in spring, most likely in April. So that's going to cause some complications there for a while. And also there are, and again, kind of where I talked about it like in the last slide, there are money concerns going forward as my dad, isn't really wanting to help us anymore, which I think at this point, considering there is the divorce, it makes sense. Obviously, like, it would be nice if you would a bit longer or had for a bit longer before just something stopping, but I think it's fair on a realistic sense, and I can't like entirely fault it, right? The divorce stuff should be finalized soon. I know like some of the final paperwork, like with the final like, hey, here's how we're gonna split things has been going. That should hopefully be taken care of sooner rather than later. But because of some of this other complications, including the money, the rebrand is most likely to be pushed back. Also, excuse me, did I? Is that my chat? Oh, excuse me. Nope. Okay, I did it right. Yeah, like the rebrand is most likely being pushed back. I don't think saying that we're gonna have this all ready by March is realistic enough. I don't have the design ready. I'm missing multiple graphical assets to have this already, and I don't think it's. I'm not gonna be able to like set unrealistic goals at this point. And trying to deal with my work situation, like IRL work situation, where like I need to find like more consistent work, because every time I get work, it's like moderately inconsistent. I'll have work for the next couple months, thankfully, but I need to just find something that's like more consistent on that, which in turn might lead to less streams. But you know what? That's kind of how it goes sometimes. So it is what it is ultimately. I can't do a whole lot in that regard. So we'll just do what we can when we can. And I appreciate you guys just being here all the same. It means a lot, you know? And then... Oh god, I forgot I put this slide here. My mods have seen some of these assets. For the rest of this, I'm not explaining anything. But talking back on some of the rebrand stuff, because I guess it's like the next best transition towards it. I am hoping to have this like for a fall release, but it's probably not gonna be ready by March 20th, which was the talk. Also, that's swear to God, why is everybody saying egg? Why does everybody say egg? Why does everyone say egg? That's what I'm trying to avoid. I feel like eggs are more oval shaped. Anyways, I've been like I said, I'll talk about that in a moment, but like Transvagalore is back. But like my mods have seen some of this stuff before. Other people have seen other different parts of it. I've been trying to work on design assets in different ways. Some of this is works in progress on just like ideas, like our very early stages of things I worked on. I'm also making a branding guide. I've seen the trenches of this design process. Yeah, no, Har has seen like some of the trenches of this. Har has seen some of this, like the image on the bottom right. I know my mods have all seen if they looked in the channel. I'm also making like a branding guide for myself. I'm not explaining context on any of what you're seeing here, by the way. If you know, you know. If you don't, you'll find out in time. On a left sketch, still the best. I mean, it's not where we're going with it, but it's there. It is there. Nah, regardless, like, this is just like a bunch of ideas. Just like for various different things. Again, I'm not elaborating on some of this stuff. Some of this I cut off intentionally. And it's just like, it's just like me throwing things at a dartboard and seeing like what actually sticks, right? Again, you're not getting any context on like any of this, but it's me figuring stuff out. So, and also some of my artists don't fucking hate me is the other best way to put it. Yeah, like, again, no context. Things are being worked on. I am hoping to finalize some of this stuff sooner rather than later, so that at least like the lore video can make progress. I can start working on other assets as well. I just need things to progress in some way so they can other things can progress in others, but that's kind of where we're at right now. And again, a lot of this is like very early design stuff, so take it with a grain of salt. If you want to infer any meanings about it, that's up to you. I'm not answering questions about this. Aside to my mods, I will answer my mods' questions, but not in Twitch chat. And then other considerations going forward, an egg. Oh, right, I didn't explain the egg thing. Hold on. I will answer that. So, it's really funny because I have one friend I've been working on some of this stuff who she like. For people who know the character Gudetama, I think it's Gudetama, the little egg character. Is it Gudetama? Hold on. Gudetama. I think it's Gudetama. Yeah, it is Gudetama. Okay. I don't know why, but Gudetama scares the shit out of me. Or, like, not scares the shit out of me, but makes me extremely uncomfortable. So I just have tried to avoid an egg shape like the plague. That's like the best way I can put it. And like, yeah, you're right. Gudetama is more egg yolk, but still, like, my friend just goes like egg to me in like DMs, like whenever like I send her like design stuff, and I'm just like, why are you like? It just makes me like backpedal like 5 steps. Like, how do I make this not an egg? How do I make this not an egg? How do I make this not an egg? But yeah, that's just kind of a bunch of my thoughts. Like, fuck you! Fuck you, like, this man just DMs me of, like, 2 different Gudetama pictures. Actually, go fuck yourself. Or wireless tall from what I can see. But yeah, like, again, I'm just, like, brainstorming some of that. But yeah, regardless, like, that's kind of my, like, this is kind of the sketchboard of my, like, again, egg is like, God, don't say that word. I do not want to be an egg. Yeah. Anyways, going back to here. Some considerations going forward that I want to do, like, just outside like, the immediate streaming, like, YouTube rebrand stuff. I technically have this launched, quote-unquote, but I haven't done anything with it yet. I'm thinking of just launching a Patreon. I don't know what rewards in general I could give, realistically. Like, outside like the same ones I give to the Twitch subs, but I feel like that's not necessarily enough. And like, obviously with Twitch it's one thing, Patreon I feel like it's another. And again, eventually there's a point where I have to change how that all works, because like, I can't keep giving you guys the same rewards forever for the subs and all that. But I do also want to improve like some of the community event stuff, because I feel like it's just the LANCon, because that's all I really feel like, and I feel like that's not quite enough. I do also want to do my first charity stream this year. I'm still looking for a good organization for a cause that I do. I know the cause I want to do, which for context, I want to do a mental health and mental health awareness charity stream. To not elaborate on who specifically, for if you know, you know, but I had a friend last year who suffered some extremely bad mental health, and made us believe that things happened to him. He's okay, for the record. I mean, he's doing better now, but after that incident, I just was like, you know what? I think that mental health is just something that needs to be better addressed, and I want to support mental health and mental health research, mental health care. So that's again my goal for a charity stream. Like that is the cause I want my first charity stream to go towards, something for mental health and mental health awareness, and especially as someone who's suffered from bad mental health and mental health stuff, like incidents with family and all that. I just want to do what I can in that regard. I want to work on my social media stuff a bit, like Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook. I need to make an Instagram. I need to make two different well, I have an Instagram technically, but I need to like use it and make a personal one, but that's besides the point. But like just overall, like work on improving my social media stuff. And I'm just kind of looking for feedback on some of this, because like a lot of this is stuff that I feel I'm out of my element in regards, so I don't know entirely what I'm doing here. And that's the best way to put it. Yeah, those are just kind of like thoughts I have at this point. I'd like to do something cool for patrons, but I don't know what to do. Community events, and then the first charity stream. For context also, because I guess I never mentioned this, my original plan, because obviously I mentioned that the debut stream was originally going to be March 20th for my 5-year anniversary. The plan was actually to turn that into like a charity event stream, but like with the VTuber model and like just do all that together. But I might still try and do the charities part of it, and then just save the debut for later. And then just to kind of overall conclude my thoughts on a lot of this. Overall, I want to just try and upload one video a month on YouTube. Try and get 12 videos at least out this year. Upload the best clips onto YouTube as shorts. Try and stream 4 days a week. This is going to be the hard one, because from what I've seen from a lot of like online online suggestions, like how to grow and all that, like it's like stream 4 days a week, ideally 4 hours per stream. Not 100% sure that's gonna entirely work out. That part might be like again, this is ideals, but I'm gonna just try and do what I can where I can. Some streams I know, hey, 4 hours can be realistic. Others I know it won't be realistic. I want to try and hit 400 minimum followers on Twitch this year. We're at 366 at the start of this year. Me saying I want to get 3-4 more subs or followers minimum, I think that's realistic. You know, if I actually start pushing for growth out, especially on other platforms. Ideally, 450 would be like the goal, to put like a stretch goal on it, but if we can hit 400 just to like say that we're out of this 300 range, I would feel so much better in that regard. Similar boat, I want to re-hit 3K subscribers on YouTube, because we did lose a bunch of subs when, between a bunch of the account purging that YouTube had early in the year, along with like just people unsubscribing, especially when I announced I was no longer machinimating. That's kind of a goal on there as well. Debut as a VTuber. I know I said I wanted to do that in March, but that might have to be pushed back, like the fall. Like I said, we're still working on that. Still getting things like overall design-wise. Like I want consistency in branding. Amu's been helping me with stuff like that. I've had some artists I've been working with, just like chatting with like hey, what do you think about this idea, this idea, this idea. I want to collab more, especially outside my comfort zone. I mean, if you guys like know maybe like suggestions of like people to reach out to, I'm kind of all about that, you know. I would be happy. Is we here on relaunch? Well, we'll talk about that. The first charity stream. The charity stream is a huge goal I have this year. I really want to do my first charity stream, even if we like don't quite have an audience that like don't necessarily get a whole lot of money for it. I want to do what I can. And then I did mention this in my retirement video, but I still want to continue Wings of a Hero in some manner of the project. Wings of a Hero is a project that's near and dear to my heart. I still want to tell Zen's story, especially now that I would say that I'm older, I've learned more. I want to tell a story. Like I said, I still love streaming and all that, but there is something different when it comes to just creating a project, right? I want to see this project happen. There is actually a Wings of a Hero Discord that I totally announced in that video as well. So if you want to like follow or volunteer for help on that project, I think I have it command. I don't know if it's to the Discord of the video, but okay, so it's to the video itself, but you get the link to the Discord from that video. It's in the description. And then overall, I want to work on me a little bit. Both for myself and for content creation. I want to feel that whole passion just come back to like how I felt back in the day. I felt some of that again, you know? When I was like just up at night working on my VTuber audio, I had so much fun with that, as weird as that was. Like, I felt almost like a kid, like just making something again. Not like a kid, like I guess like a young teenager, like young adult. You know, I guess you could say 30 is still young, quote unquote. But regardless, overall, that's kind of just me yapping, and that kind of concludes it. I actually don't have any more slides. This is the final slide of it all. I don't even make a thank you slide for some reason, but yeah, that's kind of where I felt this was all gonna go realistically with everything. So, thank you guys for being here. If you say yapping one more time, I'm gonna end it off. Well, you know what, like, you're gonna have to listen to me yapping in your ears a lot more, because I'm not gonna stop, okay? That is a word I have become fond of, and I like that word. In my chat, I'm dead. No, you're not. I'm not letting you. Feature is now. Man. Yeah, exactly. The feature is now. Yapping is a word that we just use. Yeah, those are my plans currently, and the help I have received on like what I have gotten done so far. I thank you guys for the help I will receive. I thank you ahead of times. You yapping too. I love it when 30-year-olds autistic. Okay, Jesus, lad. No, that one doesn't get to exist. That's a little harsh. That's a little harsh, okay? Like, if you did not include like the autistic word, I probably would have let that message slide, but that's a little much. Regardless. Fuck Jesus. Regardless, thank you everybody for listening to me just spouting nonsense. I appreciate it all. I wanted excuses to talk for a little bit, and this is an exercise for me as well, on top of just telling you guys what's been going on. I don't really do a whole lot of just chatting streams. Like, usually the card organization streams are kind of where I exercise that. Once you tuck me in. I'm going to tuck you into something, but it's not going to be your bed. I'll tell you that. And we're just going to try and figure things out. you know, I want to continue Wings of a Hero in some way, shape, or form. Was someone talking to you, sir? Oh, well, you can add Nem if you were talking to, if you were going to talk specifically to Nem. If it's just in chat, I'm assuming it's to me. So, that is your fault. Regardless. We're going to work on things together. I appreciate each and every single person being here tonight. I don't know how to use the computer. That sounds like you're an old man. And you're stupid. Yeah, thank y'all very much. That's kind of the end of it all. I don't really have like an outro to all this. I guess if anybody like has questions, concerns, comments, anything they want to add on, I can try and answer to that. If not, I'll probably be ending stream shortly. Just in case, I'm gonna see if there's anybody to raid real quick. I don't know if anybody else is streaming at this point. Let me just check really fast. There's Sean and Shu10. I already run stream. We'll probably raid Sean, because I haven't raided him in like a hot minute. Yeah. I guess that's more or less it for me. So thank you guys very much for listening to me talk about all this stuff. It really means a lot. I just kind of want to get my thoughts out there and refer back to this as well for my own goals going into years to come. I probably will do this in the future as well. Just kind of compare where I was to where I am. And I think that might be fun, just like see growth. And be like, wow, I remember back when I had this few sub or like few followers on Twitch. I remember when all this was going on in my life, you know? And just kind of wanting to do better. That's just the best way to do it. I just want to do better. And again, help is always appreciated. Would have loved talking to you guys. Want to maybe do something like this more. If there are topics you want me to talk about, if I feel like I can talk about it long enough, or if it's like a short enough topic, I can compile a bunch of short topics just to talk together. If you want to hop in the Discord for all the future stream stuff, please help me out. Don't forget to follow me on socials and all of that. It's greatly appreciated. You guys are awesome. And then before the next song starts, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off here. We're going to rate, so like I said, we're going to rate Sean. He's playing some Eternal Sonata. And that's it for me. So thank y'all very much. I'll be on Ranson's stream tomorrow for some... I forgot the name of the game. Jesus, I forgot the name of the game. Fantasian Neo Dimension, I believe is what it's called. And then we'll be back on Friday for FF9. We'll be back a bit more commonly myself on streaming next month. I just have some things going on that take a lot of my time this weekend. Yeah, like Ranson said, Fantasian Neo Dimension. Yeah, that's it for me. Thank y'all very much. You guys are awesome. I'll be back myself on Friday, but you guys can check out Ranson's stream tomorrow. And yeah, I'll check you guys later. Thank you very much again for listening to me. And chat with you later. Goodbye, friends.